Hello and welcome to Top10List.org, where you get a world of knowledge in 10 simple points. Today's episode is going to be about top 10 accidental discoveries. Let's start at number 10 with LSD. LSD was developed not by design but by accident by scientist Albert Hofmann. It was during his research for the production of a medicine that can lessen the pain being experienced during childbirth. Number 9 is superglue. Superglue was accidentally discovered in 1942 by Dr. Harry Coover while attempting to isolate the plastic component made for high precision and high performance gun sights. Number 8 is a pacemaker. Wilson Greatbach, an American engineer, accidentally stumbled on very interesting product after he erroneously used the wrong kind of resistor for his device. Number 7 is the slinky. The slinky was just an ordinary spring that accidentally fell off of a table. Marine engineer Richard James observed that the spring tumbled and stumbled in interesting motions and form. After a series of trials, Richard James was able to perfect its design and come up with a final version of the toy. It became an instant hit when it was finally launched in the market in 1948. Number 6 is potato chips. The chef of a restaurant accidentally discovered these chips after repeatedly placing the food that was being served to a particularly difficult customer. After cutting the fries in thin strips, the customer found this new food interesting. Potato chips became an instant hit in the restaurant as well as the entire community. Number 5 is Post-it notes. This may be dismissed by some as non-essential. However, a lot of people disagree with this hackneyed attitudes towards Post-it notes. This small but significant discovery was an accidental result of the collaboration between a low-key scientist and a churchgoer. Number 4 is champagne. Contrary to popular belief, champagne is a product developed by accident by Dom-Pierre Perignon. The original intention of the father of champagne was to formulate a drink that had no bubbles, as these are associated to poor wines. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, Dom-Pierre Perignon ended with a drink that was heavy with bubbles. This paved the way for the introduction of champagne in France. Number 3 is ice cream cones. The discovery of the ubiquitous ice cream was just a result of unplanned encounter which totally changed the course of modern history. Before the advent of the cones, ice creams were originally served on regular dishes. It was during the 1904 World's Fair that one of the stall operators selling ice cream was forced to improvise after running out of serving dishes for his best-selling ice cream. He then forged an agreement with the seller of Zalabia and bought his entire stocks. The seller of the ice cream used this item as the serving, which was waffles at the time, and it ushered in the birth of ice cream cones. Number 2 is a microwave, and it was during 1945 while LeBaron Spencer was deep into research on the development of magnetrons as a critical component of radar systems that he accidentally stumbled on the alternative function of this device. It was during one of those tests that Spencer noticed that the chocolate bar inside his pocket melted. It was the first ever act of microwave cooking in modern history. Last but not least on our list is penicillin. All of us are familiar at how the oversight committed by Alexander Fleming redefined the course of history. Though he may not have been credited largely for the development of the first generation of antibiotics, his small contribution in the development of penicillin paved the way for its eventual emergence as a critical treatment protocol during World War II. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Top 10. If you enjoyed, click subscribe and don't hesitate to join us again for another episode.